Thank you, Ambassador. I have a number of yes/no answers, and if you feel you cannot answer them yes or no, just say you cannot, and I'll move on to the next question. The first of these, yes or no, the Trump tariffs will soon be levied on pharmaceuticals from abroad.
I'd like to discuss that in more detail with you, sir.
Is that true or not?
Well, the president, he wants to get manufacturing production back here, and so he's going to conduct an investigation to see what's appropriate in terms of tariffs.
So he hasn't decided to impose them as he said he would last night at the Republican fundraiser.
He said that he will impose them. Now, what the
you.
extent of that is subject to an
yes,
investigation.
Reclaiming my time. A simple question, Ambassador. Yes or no, do you agree with the president's senior Trump trade advisor, Peter Navarro, that higher tariffs are tax cuts?
Sir, I don't get involved in the tax discussions, but we know tariffs have a revenue effect for sure.
You think tariffs are tax cuts?
I think that tariffs are an imposition on foreign goods that can protect American workers and American products.
And again, yes or no, do you agree with senior trade advisor Peter Navarro that as Americans watch their savings erode and the stock market losses approaching $7 trillion, that what Americans need is patience?
I think we all need to work through this period as we try to reshore and get over the $1.2 trillion deficit that President Biden left us with.
Do you agree with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick that we're not going to reverse course no matter how much the markets implode, and that these tariffs will be permanent?
Well, the president has directed that we're negotiating with willing partners, and that's where I'm keying my guidance from.
You just referenced the United Kingdom, and you have claimed that these trade deficits require these tariffs. Is it correct that large Trump tariffs were imposed on imports from close allies like the United Kingdom and Australia, even though we have a sizable trade surplus with each of those allies?
There's a global deficit, and those surpluses should probably be larger because of the barriers they have.
Again, sir, can you simply answer yes or no? Did we impose tariffs on allies with whom we have a trade surplus, not a trade deficit?
We impose tariffs on every country because it's a global problem.
So the answer is yes, even though you don't want to say it, apparently. Let me ask you also about experiences during the first Trump administration, because at that time there was discussion about the impact of the retaliatory tariffs from China on farmers. And as a result of that retaliation, there was a significant amount of farm welfare payments that were paid. We know this time that the tariffs and the retaliation are much broader, like the Chinese substituting Brazilian soybeans for American soybeans. Will American taxpayers be asked once again to finance welfare payments to farmers that lose foreign markets? Yes or no?
It's not clear yet whether that will be necessary.
Might have to and might not. Similarly, last time there were concerns about the selective nature and the exceptions that were made to these tariffs. And it seems that those who hired Republican contributors, lobby firms, did much better on exceptions. The whole exception process was criticized by the Government Accountability Office. Can I be assured that if one of my businesses hires a Republican lobbyist and contributor who can get a table down at Mar-a-Lago, that they will not get an exception to these tariffs or an exclusion?
There are no exceptions or exclusions to this program for the president.
All right. You know, it's not one of my regular allies, but the National Taxpayers Union sent me a question yesterday, and I'll pose it to you as they did to me. They note that the United States has run trade deficits for 48 straight years, during which time the U.S. economy has grown by 255% in real terms, that these decades of trade deficits have corresponded with increases in American wealth and household incomes that far exceed the progress in Canada, China, and the European Union. Do you think that this growth in American wealth as a result associated with deficits is something that constitutes a national emergency?
The giant and massive persistent trade deficit that Biden left us with is an emergency. It's not like the small deficits from the 60s when we had auto workers here making production. We've offshored all this stuff, Mr. Doggett, and we are really in an emergency situation, and we're not passing the buck.
Reclaiming my time, we seem to have done much better than in the Gilded Age, which the president prefers. I would just say that on the eve of his inauguration, the president promised to bring prices drastically down, and there's nothing that you've said in your answers or non-answers to me today that will give Americans any assurance to believe anything other than that their prices will continue to soar and their savings will continue to shrink. The president's lies continue to cost the American people dearly. I yield back.